Alright, today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Instead of a repair video, this is going to be more of a modification video. Today we're going to be wiring the fog lights on RX-8 so that they can always be on without the headlights being on. And something that's really nice to have is your Mazda FSM, specifically the wiring diagram one. There is another FSM book that's a lot bigger that's just mechanical, and also one for the engine, one for the transmission. But today we're going to be focused on the electrical. See here, basically what we're going to be doing is wiring the input or the trigger wire to the fog light relay that currently goes to the headlights. So whenever the headlights are on, the fog light relay gets activated, assuming you have the switch on. What we're going to be doing is wiring that up to the accessory relay so that the fog lights can be on whenever the key is an accessory or on. Now what we're going to be doing, you can see here, this is the fog light relay right here. Then you see on the trigger side, this is the coil side that pulls in the actual contacts. On the trigger side, it gets ground through the fog light switch, comes up, and it gets your power from your headlight system. So when your headlights are on, you get power here. Assuming the fog light switch is on, you get a current path all the way through here, which pulls in these contacts. And you see this comes from the battery. It's always powered. Comes across through these contacts, then down to your two fog lights. So essentially what we'll be doing is rewiring it so your power source here does not come from the headlights. And for that we'll be taking actually the input from the ignition switch to the accessory relay right here, because it's a very low current draw. All you're doing is turn the relay on, and that accessory input side of the accessory relay is already on a 15 amp fuse, so it won't be a problem. Both the fog light relay and the accessory relay are in the front fuse box. There we go. There's your accessory relay under the hood, and there's your fog light relay. So they're just split in the middle by the horn relay. Honestly, you could probably do it from the horn relay too. It's just the accessory relay is the first one I found. So what we're going to be doing is pulling this engine bay fuse box up and out. It's actually extremely simple on these. Pretty much every Mazda I've seen, they just clip right out, which is nice. So we're going to be pulling that out, taking a look at the wiring, and luckily, like I said, we have all the wiring information we need. And I lost it. There it is. Oh, that's accessory. And of course, we have all the wiring information we need from the FSM here and from here. I'm actually going to do this and click the pages together. So yeah, we'll get to the car and we'll start pulling that fuse box out. Okay, so pulling the fuse box apart, like I said, is actually a lot simpler than you think it'd be. So first we go ahead and do a tab on either side, pull the cover off, and you can see accessory relay, fog light relay, kind of right next to each other. Now this is the section we're going to have to pull off right here. The easiest way, pocket screwdriver. You'll have little tabs here, 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 and here you have to pull out. So what we're going to do is this one, and I already had this part, so this is already kind of loose. Take off that one, and this whole guy just kind of pulls up like that. Now to keep it out of our way while we're working with it, I'm just going to kind of do that number, and you see we got plenty of clearance to work in there, and it should be pretty easy. All right, so if we look back at our wiring diagram, the input to the coil for the fog light, since we do not have DRLs, is right here. It's going to be a brown wire. And you see that's accessory, that's fog light. There's our input to the coil for the relay. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to cut the wire down here and seal off that side, just in case we want to put it back to stock later. I'm going to take this wire and jump it over to the accessory relay, which gets its power on the white-red trigger wire from the ignition switch. Remember, on a relay, your tiny wires are always going to be control side, Thick wires, always going to be load side. So again, control and load. This is a very low current circuit. All it does is trigger the relay inside the coil, pulls the contacts in, which connects or disconnects depending on the relay. Your thick load side wires here, your high current side. That's all a relay is. It's basically a switch. So we're going to take the white red wire here. Now, one thing I didn't mention for this fog light relay is that yes, you could just jump this side to this side, since this side always has constant power, but then your fog lights would be on whenever the switch was on. And you don't want that when you park your car, you forget your light switch, you come out, you got a damn dead battery. That's just not cool. Now, in keeping with the mantra that you always want to test your circuits, you never want to rely specifically on a diagram, because those lie. I'm going to do, take off my broke ass battery. We're going to test these with the power probe. Now, a regular multimeter will work just the same. This is just easier. They can also apply power. For example, fog light trigger is brown. So I'm going to do, what I'm doing there. Okay, there you go, it turns the fog lights on. It's also backfeeding the headlight circuit, as you can see, but we know that works to turn the fog lights on. As you can see, when I probe it, it's showing ground right now. But if I turn the headlights on, it's now showing power. So that's good. We know that circuit is correct. Now likewise, on the accessory relay, we want to check that white red wire, this guy here. It should be dead right now with the key off. As you can see, I'm getting nothing, it's ground. So the key is now on in accessory. Not on, sorry, it's in accessory. You can see we're now getting battery voltage. Turn the key back off before we kill the battery. Okay, so we know we're good there. So, no longer need this. So we're ready to start cutting wires. Now, you could just jump a wire from the brown over to the white red, but as you saw, that would actually backfeed the headlight circuit, which is something you don't want to do. So we won't be doing that. Instead, we'll be cutting the brown wire. You don't have to cut it that far because you're just going from here to here. So we're cutting this guy. About there will do. The nice thing is in here, I just lost my heat shrink. The nice thing is in here, the wiring harness comes out, loops around, and goes back down. So you have plenty of extra in case you ever want to go back to stock. Another thing we're going to do, we're going to take this wire that we just cut, and we're going to heat shrink it. Just so it doesn't come up and arc against any of the lower contacts on the relays. So that's good and protected. Don't need the lighter anymore. Now we're going to take this white red wire. That's the power feed to the accessory relay, or the trigger wire for the coil. And the easiest way I've found to tack in the wires that are still in one piece is kind of use a pair of strippers like this and just make two cuts like that on the wire, like you're gonna, take a piece off, and then run a razor blade down that section and it'll come right off. Got ourselves a new razor blade. Undo. See that? Do that. Do that. take your blade and just slice right down through there. And of course, if it doesn't want to be a dick, it comes right off. There we go. You see, you got a nice, clean cut section. You're not kind of hacking at the insulation with a blade like this. It just leaves you a nice section right there to tap into. Now we take a brown wire, strip a bit off there, take a red wire, and wrap it around there. Now you could stop there. Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put the key in accessory and see if the fog lights turn on. Now they should. And there you go, fog lights. Fog lights turn on, engine's not running. So we know we have a good modification here. Okay, key back off. No longer need our FSM. Now you could leave it just like this, tape it up, put it back together. Honestly, I'd like to go ahead and solder that. There we go. Nice little butane soldering iron. Comes in handy working on the car, installing and removing alarm systems, stuff like that. There's an electrical tape. Oh, there it is. And obviously electric tape. We wait for butane iron to warm up. There we go. I found one of the easiest ways of cleaning a tip is just plunge it through some cardboard. Nice and clean. Now we come in here. Hard to see with the camera right there. Looks good. Better look at that joint. You can see it's nice. The solder's flowed through both wires. It's formed a nice connection. You want to wrap it first to make a nice physical connection, and then you solder it to make a nice electrical connection. You see it, that's not going anywhere. And the nice thing again about this mod is it's not permanent. You can always come back, cut the heat shrink tubing off of your brown wire down here, cut this section wire off the white red, reconnect the two browns, and it's back to stock. So now, just go ahead and tape things up. You could also use liquid electrical tape here. It's not going to really be, this isn't really a harsh weather environment on the bottom of this fuse box, so I'm not worried about that. If it were something like that was underneath the car, then yeah, maybe some liquid electrical tape would be better than the standard, this kind of tape. Or if it was in a really harsh environment, like I said, outside of the car, on the frame rail, something like that. Ideally, you'd cut the wire and then join everything with, say, butt connectors that have the glue inside that seals out, seals out the weather, or even the heat shrink that has a glue inside. But, you seal it up the heat shrink and the glue comes out the ends and it forms a nice weather-tight connection. It's expensive, but it works really well. Okay, so now that we're done everything in here, okay, let's get it back off. Get your fuse box back in place. Oop, that's not in place. Screwdriver. You gotta watch as you're lining up like 4 different things at once here. There we go. And she's in. Not sure why that one doesn't go in there. This back on. And of course, unless you pull up that lower fuse box section and take a look at it, it looks completely factory. You can't tell anything's been done, which is always a nice thing. Now, should you disconnect your battery before you do this, I don't see the point. None of the circuits are going to be live while you're working on it, unless you have the key on, which you shouldn't be doing. Even then, your risk of actually hurting something is very low. Okay, let's set the camera up now. We'll see the fog lights turn on with just the accessory. Turn the key on. There you go. No need for the headlights to be on. Alright, and that is how you do the fog light rewire on your first gen RX-8. I'm not sure if the Series 2 is the same way as the Series 1, but it should be about the same. I mean, this is how you do it on pretty much any car. You know, so yeah, that's how you do a fog light rewire on your Series 1 RX-8 with just the help of an FSM, a multimeter or a power probe, and a couple of regular tools.